Dear student, myself Kiranja, lecturer VPMP Polytechnic Gandhinagar. I am again here with my new presentation from the subject Java Programming. Code of the subject is 3350703 and this code belongs to the GTU Diploma section. The topic that I am going to take here is difference between POP and OOP, basic feature of OOP. The unit from which this topic is, the unit 1 is Introduction to Java. Now we will see the objective. Objective of this video is difference between procedure-oriented programming and object-oriented programming, that is difference between POP and OOP, then basics of OOP. 1.7 we will see in my next consecutive video how to compile and run a simple Hello World program. Now about the introduction, that is we are going to introduce about OOP and POP. Now what is POP first? The POP is nothing but it is procedural oriented programming language. So many of the earlier languages like C, Fortran, COBOL, Pascal, they are all based on procedure oriented language, and that's why they all are category of POP. It deals with, so POP actually deals with the programs and functions. Here the programs are divided into functions and data is global. It means the data can move from one function to another function very easily. So the first one is POP, and to overcome the pitfalls of POP, there is another language like C++ and Java. C++ and Java, they follows completely the approach of OOP, that is object oriented programming. So what are the concepts of OOP? Concepts of OOP are class, object, abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, and many more are there. But we will see this one. So Java is truly object-oriented programming language which follows the concept of OOP. Means what concept? Class, object, abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, etc. Now what is the difference between POP and OOP? Here the first column is POP and the other one is OOP. So the first point is, here the main program, it is divided into small parts, that is called function. When we are talking about the procedure oriented programming, here the main program, it is divided into many number of small parts, that is called function. Functions are nothing but it is clubbing or collection of group of instruction. Here when we are talking about object oriented programming, here the program is divided into parts called object. So the basic difference is, in when we are talking about POP, the program is divided into functions and subfunction, and when we are talking about OOP, the program is divided into small parts, that is called object. Second, importance is not given to data but to functions as well as sequence of actions to be done. So when we are talking about the POP, that is procedure oriented programming language, here the importance is not given to data, but here the importance is given to procedures or functions as well as the sequence of actions like inputting, calculating and outputting. But when we are talking about OOP, the importance is given to the data irrespective of functions. Here the importance is given to data. Please remind, here the importance is given to data in OOP, and when we are talking about POP, here the importance is given to functions or procedure. So here when we are talking about OOP, importance is given to the data rather than procedures or functions, because it works as a real world. Because here when we are working with object oriented programming in C language, we are actually working with the real time environment. So third point from the POP is, POP follows top down approach. As I mentioned, here the main program approach is from top to bottom. It means main program is divided into number of subfunctions. When we are talking about object oriented programming, just now I said here the critical element is data. So everything is based upon data, and from bottom to top it follows the approach. Next point is, POP does not have any access specifier. Access specifier is not there in procedure oriented programming languages when we are talking about C, Fortran, Pascal, COBOL. But when we are talking about OOP, they are having access specifier, and the name is public, private and protected, that we will see later. In POP, data can move freely from function to function in the system. As I said, key procedure oriented programming, here the sensitivity of data is not there. So any data can move from one function to another function. So it becomes very difficult for the program from where the data has been come. So, but when we are talking about object-oriented programming, in OOP, objects can move and communicate with each other through member function. Here data directly cannot move from one function to another. So, in what happens in OOP here, when we are talking about the data, objects can move and communicate with each other through member function. Here the objects are moving and communicating with each other through member function. But here what happens, data can be easily moving from one function to another function without any obstacle. But here it is not possible. So sixth is, to add new data and function POP is not so easy. So you cannot update very easily in case of POP, but it is very easy in OOP. You can add new data and function. When we are talking about the seventh feature in POP, most function uses global data for sharing that can be accessed freely from function to function in the system. So most of the function they are using global variable data, and it shares from one function to another function very easily. And that's why I said there is safety as well as security is very less there, as data can move very easily from one function to another. That you cannot get in OOP. In OOP, data cannot move easily from function to function. It can be kept public or private, so we can control the access of data. Yes, we can move the data, but only after accessing it. If we will give the permission, then only it becomes possible for us to access the data. But in POP, it moves very easily. So the eighth point is, POP does not have any proper way for hiding data, so it is less secure. So it is less secure because we are not having data hiding feature, but OOP is having the data hiding, so provides more security. Ninth point, in POP, overloading is not possible. Overloading we will see in Java language in our next topic, means coming topic. But when we are talking about OOP, overloading is possible in the form of function overloading and operator overloading that we will see later. So examples of the POP is, as I said during my video also, C, Visual Basic, Fortran, COBOL, Pascal, these all are example of traditional programming languages, that is POP. And these are examples of OOP, that is C++, Java, VB.NET, C#.NET, etc. Now we will see basics of OOP, that is abstraction, inheritance, encapsulation, classes, subclasses, superclasses, polymorphism, message communications, and many more are there. First is object and class. Here you can see the example of object and class. When I am talking about objects belong to the class. There are many objects of the same data type which belong to the class. For example, when I am talking about a class name is car. So here Audi, Nissan, Volvo, these all are example of object. As they are having the same data type, they belong to the same data, so they belong to the class name car. Similarly, when we are talking about any class, suppose there are 70 students in a class, then 70 objects belong to that particular class. Suppose the name of the class is 19CE1 or 19CE2, then the objects whole class belongs to that particular class. Whole class, I mean to say the whole number of objects. It means the object should belong to the object should be of the same type. Object should be of the same type, belong to the class. You can take the other example like fruit. In fruit, for example, apple, then mango, then pineapple. These all are objects. They belong to the class fruit. Here you can see the other example. Here we have taken two examples like person and parrot. You can see here there are three blocks: object, data, and methods. When I am talking about object, they all are individual, unique features they are having. So person is having the two data, that is name and basic pay, and parrot is having four data, that is legs, eyes, feather, beak. And here we are having another block where you can see here two functions, salary and tax, and here you are having eating and flying. So these two functions we are using. We are operating on these functions by using the data from that object. Data like name and basic pay we are using to calculate the function like salary and tax. And this four data we are using to calculate the function like eating and flying. Class, as just now I said, it is a user-defined data types and behaves like built-in type of programming language. So it is a collection of logically related data items. The same example here. Data abstraction is nothing but it acts as representing essential features without including background details or explanation. So similarly, you can take one example, abstraction. It means only the essential feature. We are not talking about the background detail. Until and unless there is any role of the background details, we are not focusing on that. And that's why abstraction, it is one of the very striking feature that we are taking in Java. Next is data encapsulation. As the name is encapsulation, it means wrapping up of data as well as function. It means we are covering data and function into a single unit, and name of that unit is class. And we will get the facility of data hiding. So data abstraction and data encapsulation, these are very important feature of object oriented programming, and that we are using in Java programming language. In data abstraction, we are focusing only on the important part. Like in a book of 300 pages, we are focusing on the abstract, and by reading the abstract only you are able to understand what would be there in the next 300 pages, and that is abstraction. We are not focusing on the pages, we are only reading the abstract. That feature we are using here. Inheritance, it is one of the very common feature that you might be knowing. It is in your day-to-day life we are using this. Inheritance is all about the heredity or legacy. You might have seen the example of Colgate, where the legacy transfers in the next generation. Similarly here also, it supports hierarchical classification. It means from top to bottom. Inheritance, it is a process by which object of one class uses the properties of object of another class. It means parent-child class can inherit all the data as well as method very easily from the parent class, because it supports the hierarchical order. Here you will get the reusability of code. We can add an additional feature to an existing class without modifying it. It means you can add a new feature in a derived class. New class with additional feature can be created. That new class which have combined features of both the new classes. It means the new class which is created with the new feature is having the collection of both the features from the parent class as well as from the child class. Next is polymorphism. Polymorphism, it means ability to take more than one form. Means by using here only the behavior changes. What changes? Behavior changes. We will see in detail whenever we will go with the programs. By using polymorphism, we will see some programs also. But in short, you understand one thing, here only the behavior changes. So polymorphism means the ability to take more than one form. It means that the same operation may have different on different classes. Like if the class is circle, triangle as well as square, but the operation is shape. So you can, by using the same operation, you can draw circle, rectangle as well as square. Next is dynamic binding. Dynamic binding means code associated with a given procedure call is not known until the time or call at runtime. Means only during the runtime you are able to understand you will have to call a procedure or function. That is dynamic binding. It means during runtime you can call that. It is associated with polymorphism and inheritance. And this feature is about message communication. As the name is message communicate, and we are dealing with object-oriented programming. So here everything is between the object. Here the communication is between the object to object. So object-oriented program consists of a set object communicates with one another by sending and receiving information. So information is communicated between the two objects here. Thank you. Keep watching my video. If you like it, then subscribe. And for next Java program execution, watch my next video. Thank you.